on YouTube. Yeah. Yeah. All right, we are live on YouTube. How's everyone doing today? How's it going? It is getting later in the evening. The sun just set a few minutes ago. It's shortly after 6 p.m. here in the San Francisco Bay Area, about 6:15 p.m. right now. And I'm out and about on another walk with purpose. Episode number 862. And today is day 10 of the GNA membership drive. Probably only going to do a couple of laps today because it is chilly. It's 56 degrees. Any colder, and I'm going to have to get my gloves on. I don't have my gloves on tonight. But it continues to get colder. The temperature continues to drop daily. So, my spider gloves will be on very soon. Those of you that have been following me for years, you know, I come prepared for any situation. I can do walking streams in the rain, come shine, hot, cold, or the perfect 70-degree weather, which is what I like. But you can't always have that, you know what I mean? But anyway, you know, I've been just in a very interesting mood lately. A very interesting mood, a good mood, that is. Because I really feel that things are starting to work themselves into place here at the GNA. If you're new here, the GNA is my business, my organization, which is short for Genuine Networking Association. It is an organization I founded back in 2011, where initially we were about helping, you know, entrepreneurs find their next power partners and possible clients. And we also taught personal development. Now, we still, you know, help entrepreneurs today connect with the next power partners and possible clients. We have Facebook group pages, LinkedIn group pages. All of those are still active. But we also nowadays help the average everyday person, whether they're an entrepreneur or not. And interestingly enough, a lot of people that I've come across that how do I explain this the right way? That I've never been an entrepreneur, have started to consider it. I've come across many people out here on YouTube, and based on their situation, they have some time and flexibility, and they're open to, you know, doing new things, such as learning to become an entrepreneur. I will tell you, being an entrepreneur and being your own boss is one of the most liberating feelings in the world. Because you don't have to report to anyone but yourself. and no one can fire you but yourself, right? And if you fire yourself, then there's a serious issue, you know what I mean? But anyway, founded the organization in 2011, and today in 2024 and heading into 2025, our main purpose is to help as many people as possible accomplish whatever their hearts desire personally and professionally. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I just had a bunch of people right in front of me, cars and people just running in front of me on the street. It's all right. I got all the time and patience in the world when I'm on these walks. This is my sanctuary. And it should be your sanctuary too. All right, let me come over here. So today, I want to talk about a very important subject that's near and dear to my heart. And I've briefly talked about this before, I believe. But I want to go into a little more detail because the topic is everybody struggles at times. It's okay. Everybody struggles at times. It's okay. And, I want to just mention a story about my father. Let me just wait. I've got lots of people walking in the parking lot and a car pulling out right in front of me. Okay. I think we're good now. All right. Okay. All right, I think we're good now. So I want to reshare the story about my father and a period of time where he really struggled financially. And it was a pretty serious time in my family's history. And I mentioned this because I'm going to be honest with you folks. Whether it's my fault or not, or a combination of my fault and other things, whatever they may be, there are times I will look at the time I've invested out here to grow this business over the last 6.5 years. And I struggle with the lack of results, as anyone would in my situation, right? There are many reasons for that, and I'm not going to go over that right now. But the reason why I mention it is because my dad went through the same thing. And it was far more serious than what I'm going through right now. And I want to compare this because what I'm going through right now is nothing compared to what my dad went through, and he pulled through one of the most difficult things, right? Give me a second, I'll be right back. All right. We are back live. We are back live. So my father pulled through one of the most difficult times in my family's history, and he had a lot more responsibility on his hands than I do. Until I met Don, my responsibility was primarily myself and, my mother, brother, aunt, etc. Right? Didn't really have a lot of responsibility. Never been married, don't have any kids. Now I have Dawn, and, that's the love of my life. I will always take responsibility for anything that happens to her, even if it's not my fault. That's what a good man does for his woman. Give me a second, I'll be right back. All right, we're back live. We're back live. Sorry about that. Dawn was sending me a text message. It wasn't urgent. It was just something, or a few things that, she wants ordered on Amazon. I just tell Dawn whatever she needs, go on to Amazon and send them, and I'll order them later. Revelations, how you been, bro? It's been a little while. How are you, lad brother? Good to see you. I've been working a lot. Sorry I haven't been around. Hey, no problem, man. It is what it is. It is what it is. Tia, if you scroll up above Revelations, can you go and ban that account? I'm having a hard time banning them for some reason. Hang on. Give me a second, I'll be right back. Tia, can you see me? I really hate it when there are YouTube issues. There are some issues right now. Yeah, Tia, go up above Revelations and ban that account. Do you see it? Does it say hide user from channel or unhide? Have they already been hidden? Because, let me try something here real quick. Revelations, give me a second. If you get banned, I'm gonna unban you. You're unhidden. Okay, Tia, do me a favor. Can you go to that channel above Revelations there, and can you go to channel and tell me if it says the channel does not exist? Because this is what some people do to try to avoid being banned. They'll quickly make a comment, and then what they'll do is they'll hide their channel before we can ban them, so they don't lose that account here. But that's okay. If you can do me a favor, get me the link to that channel. Send me the link back on Facebook Messenger, and then I'll keep an eye on them. Stupid morons playing games. It says problem with your server. No, it's no problem. They hid the channel. What they did was they came in here and they hid their channel. So it's not allowing us to remove them, but I'm sure we can actually. I wonder if we. Let me see here. I can delete the message. At least I can delete the message. It's all good. Tia, if you haven't seen my latest community posting, you should check out my latest community posting. I saw a quote on, or heard a quote on TV last night on a TV show regarding blackmail. I thought it was pretty interesting. Because, blackmail is like having a gun with one bullet, right? You can't use it on every little problem. And the closer you get to your goal, the harder it is to pull the trigger. The hell was that? And I was like, wow, that's pretty interesting because it makes a lot of sense. Very interesting. But anyway, so, my father was responsible for not only my mother, but my brother and myself. I'll check it out. I see you've been posting more, rightfully so. Oh, thank you, Tia. I appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, the stream I did earlier today on my main channel, Tia, and everyone else, that was kind of like the final things I needed to say. There's nothing more left to say regarding certain other issues. So, and I appreciate it. I got your comment, Tia. I have to respond to it more later, and I responded to you behind the scenes. But I really appreciate what you said. I'm glad that you enjoyed the stream. And yeah, onwards and upwards, Only reason why I even ever talked about, certain things over the last few days, especially on the main channel, is because I was put in a position where I had to. I was put in a position where I felt the need that I had to. And it's funny to me that the main purpose of those streams had nothing to do with one person that feels it's all about him, right? and thinks that what I was talking about on my stream earlier was about him. It wasn't. It wasn't. It was protecting myself against being, it's being sued in a frivolous way for slander, when I'm being slandered and defamed way more than any said party threatening or potentially threatening to sue me for the same thing. It's all good. It's all good, All I'm going to say is this: some people are running out of ammo, and they're just holding on to that one single bullet, right? It's okay. It's all good. You get it. You understand. You are well protected. Yeah. And let me tell you something. Until the GNA starts to make a reasonable amount of money, I'm not even going to get liability insurance. And this is me with my licensed insurance professional hat. If you have a limited liability company and your business has very minimal assets, like my GNA has literally no assets. There's nothing to take. There's no money there at all. We make a few bucks here and there, right? So there's no need. Why would I get an insurance policy to protect something that's not there, and then someone can sue me and have an insurance? They can go after my insurance policy, right? Does that make sense, Tia? I'm sure it does. You got to think about these things, right? What does a business insurance policy protect? It protects your business's assets. If you don't have any assets, there's nothing to protect. If you get a policy when you have no assets, you're basically opening yourself up to lawsuits. Definitely. It's better to have nothing, right? Right. Exactly. So, again, even if somebody were to sue me, and even if they happen to win, which they would, and what are they going to get? There's nothing there. And there's no insurance policy there. And if you try to sue me personally, for what? This is a business matter. No, I'm well covered. I think everybody knows that. But that's okay. Thank you, Tia. I appreciate that. But my dad had a family to provide. And I mentioned this before, I'll say it again, because this topic is near and dear to my heart. Everybody struggles at times. Like I've been struggling to get my YouTube channels to grow and my business, the GNA, to grow. I've been struggling. It was much easier, 7 to 10 to 12 years ago when we were doing in-person stuff before COVID hit. Times have changed, right? My dad, when he first came out to the U.S., he started selling cars. He became one of the top car salesmen in the world. Not saying that to show off. He would work 14 to 16 hours a day, and most weeks he would work 7 days a week. He would take a few holidays off. My dad literally took off maybe 4 or 5 days a year. He worked like 360 days a year, all day. My dad broke the record for selling cars in 1 month. He sold 61 and a half cars. Now, half a car is when you start the transaction or another salesperson starts the transaction, and because they have to get going and can't finish the transaction, they dish it off to another salesperson, and you split the commission 50-50. So my dad, in 1 month, sold 61 and a half cars. Now, there's a difference between selling cars at full retail, and there's a difference between selling cars via fleet. And there have been salespeople that have sold cars via fleet at a much greater level. But to sell 61 and a half cars in 1 month at full retail is an accomplishment that very few will ever accomplish. And I don't think any other salesperson has accomplished that. This was back in the 70s and 80s. And my dad made a lot of money back then because he busted ass to provide for his family. I'll just share this. In 1984, my dad made $200,000 selling cars back in 1984. That's 40 years ago. You know how much that is today? That's probably close to 800,000 today. Maybe a million. That's how much that money was back then, right? At least 700,000 in today's money. I'm only saying that to show how hard my dad worked to provide for his family. And then what my dad did was, he wanted to partner up with somebody he thought he could trust, and they would purchase two dealerships together and own them 50-50. And he basically went into business with someone he thought he could trust, and the guy screwed him over, and my dad had to sue him. And my dad was in court for almost 6 years. The case was supposed to only go for 3 years max, but they extended it beyond that. And my dad ended up winning. But the legal fees were so astronomical that he only came ahead about $50,000. And this was in the early 90s. And remember, my dad's putting my brother and I at Sarah High School, $5,500 a year each for one of the top high schools around. My dad wanted to give us a great education, right? And during the time that this lawsuit was happening, my dad wasn't working because there were some things that happened where the industry was trying to screw over my dad, and same with the guy that he went into business with. And my dad, they tried to accuse my dad of things he didn't do, and he had to legally defend himself. And for about a 3 or 4 year period of time, my dad didn't work or bring in any income. He had made good money, had some savings, but that goes quick when you have expenses. He had, in 1984, he purchased his dream house, which is the house that Dawn and I, my girlfriend Dawn and I, share with my mom today. God bless my father for putting us in that position. We're not showing off or anything. We're just saying that this is what it took. This is what it took to have that today. And it's not easy to maintain. It takes hard work and dedication. And you go through a lot of crap. For almost 4 years, my father didn't bring a penny in, and he had a wife and 2 kids to provide. He still fed us good food. He still put us in the best schools. He still found a way to make it happen. But he struggled for 4 years almost. Now, he started to work before the trial ended. And he got into the real estate business. While he was in court for all this crap, he was getting his real estate licenses at the same time and learning that business. So he had a lot on his plate. And there's nothing I can compare that to. I will not compare myself to my dad and what he went through and how great of a provider he was. And no matter what was thrown his way, no matter what bullshit was thrown his way. I'm going to tell you guys something here, because my dad was actually trolled one time. I might have mentioned this a very long time ago. I'll mention it again. My own dad was trolled before the internet was even a big thing. They used to troll people by phone back in those days on the answering machines, right? Some guy called the family home and left a message. And my dad had gained some weight back then. And this guy called up in this voice and he said, "Dimitri, how are you today?" "I'm fine. But your days are all over, kid, you fat top of shit." They called my dad a fat top of shit. I couldn't believe that. "We're after you, and we're gonna get you." And then the dude goes, "The wages of sin is death. Goodbye, Dimitri, for now. Ha, ha, ha." I remember verbatim as a little kid. I was like around 12, 13, 14, around there. I was really young. I remember my dad being trolled back in the days before trolling even existed. That call scared my mother. It scared my brother, myself, my dad. It didn't bother him. Because my dad realized at that point what I now realize about trolling in the modern world. Digital trolling, right? Sounds like nothing was going to stop him. No. He kept going. That's exactly the point. And, my father, in order to make it through, the homes were starting to get a lot of equity back then. He had to take some home equity loans. And that's why those homes are not paid off yet, because of that situation. Like, it really matters what other people think about me, but people have questioned, why aren't those homes paid off after 30, 40 years? Because my father didn't work for 4 years, because people like you in the real world back then fucked with him because they were jealous of him. Because he was a good hard worker and made decent money. And people liked him. Right? Yeah. So, every time I share stories I've shared before, I remember other aspects. I don't think I ever mentioned that phone call where my dad was trolled. I remember the tone of voice and the exact verbiage. Some dude probably that worked with my dad, because my dad was a great salesperson. And he wasn't a great salesperson because he was a snake. He was a great salesperson because he worked long hours and was honest with people and took the time to show them what they really, to hear, first of all, what they were looking for, and to show them what they wanted to see. People respected him and they trusted him. And my dad worked in Silicon Valley. So while he was working the car business, that's when companies like Atari, remember Atari? They were in Sunnyvale, which is 20 minutes south of where Don and I live in Redwood City. Adobe and Apple and Microsoft and Intel and IBM. It was IBM initially. My dad sold all those people cars. Every one of them. They're executives. They're employees. My dad was doing well that he reinvested money. He would buy full-page ads for 1 month. He would spend $10,000 to have a full-page ad in the San Francisco Chronicle, the best newspaper back then. And see, he not only recovered his money back, but that 1 month he advertised for $10K, the big article, he got business all year off of that. Because once people find out about you and they do business with you and they trust you and you don't screw them, they refer you business. My dad got a lot of referral business. And he did well, but he also struggled. Everybody struggles. Just because people struggle doesn't mean they haven't done well or aren't in progress of doing well. One of the main reasons why I've kept the GNA going and I've kept the GNA going and I've focused, which is what I'm trying to say. I've focused more on personal development. I still help entrepreneurs connect with their next power partners and possible clients, but I'm more focused on personal development for entrepreneurs and even just the average everyday person. I focused on this because this is what I'm passionate about. Personal development has changed my life. It's turned my life around. It has allowed me to love myself in ways I could never imagine. I used to not love myself. I've said it before. I used to not love myself. I used to hate myself. So that's how I can identify other people that fucking hate themselves, because I used to hate myself. I hated myself. I didn't love what I saw in the mirror. I didn't love my attitude. I didn't like a lot of things about me. And personal development allowed me to change my ways of thinking. It allowed me to accept myself for who I am. And it allowed me to focus more on doing what I need to do to better myself than focus on trying to correct other people's opinions of me regarding of how shitty I am. Because this just doesn't happen on YouTube. This happens in the real world. Everyone goes through this. Now, before YouTube and the internet, people would trash each other in person. It wasn't at the great level as the internet allows you to do it now, but people were still doing it. I stopped letting people in the real world kick me down. I stopped letting their opinions matter. Because, like I've always said, since I've been doing this for 6.5 years now, the only opinion of yourself that really matters is your own. The only opinion of yourself that really matters is your own. But going back to my dad, he did what he had to do. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. And I remember my mom panicking all the time, which drove my dad crazy and drove my brother and I crazy. But looking back, I understand why she was panicking. Didn't help the situation, but I understand why she was panicking. Right? When I go back to the days of my family struggling and overcoming it to have what we have today, it's a world of difference. It's just the feeling that we were experiencing back then was just immense. It was one of the most difficult things that my family dealt with. And there were lots of moments of uncertainty. I've learned that I'm a spitting image of my father. My father had very strong beliefs. I have very strong beliefs. But while my father had very strong beliefs, he was always fair and equal with everyone. He didn't judge anyone based on anything. Like, he didn't discriminate. He didn't, he just wasn't a judgmental type of person. Would he call people out on their bullshit? Yes. See, my father, I learned this from him, and he's right. My father, the reason why people trolled him in the real world back then before the internet came out was because he would call people out on their bullshit, and he would expose people's stupidity, and he would basically stop people's stupidity. So people got really triggered and they wanted to retaliate. So you're going to retaliate against one of the most noble and ethical men on the planet because you want to do unethical things to make your money or live your life, and he's basically trying to stop that stupid shit. And because he stops the dumb shit you're doing that's not only hurting you but hurting other people at the same time, you now have to attack him. You now have to go after him, right? That's the problem with this world. The problem with this world is you've got people playing the system, like I've always said, riding lines, skating lines, playing the system. Because they don't want to work hard to make their money or to have their living. They want it to be as easy as possible. And the only way that's possible is by doing unethical things and riding lines and skating lines that are more than likely going to harm other people. And good Samaritans like myself and my father, we can't stand fucking people like that. We can't. And we challenge them. And we call them out. And when we expose their bullshit, they get so fucking triggered that they want to retaliate, like I said. And then they start doing even more dumb shit. And not only unethical shit, they start to do illegal shit because the unethical shit that they started in the first place is no longer good enough. Now they got to start doing illegal shit to keep their facade going. Right? Everyone goes through things, right? Everyone struggles. No matter how successful you are, you've struggled at one point. All successful people have struggled at one point. Every human being has struggled. No one has just been perfect their entire life. Right? You got people out here on YouTube that think they're like the perfect person and they've never fucked up or struggled in life. And I've heard other people say that people like that have what's called the Napoleon complex. Yeah, that's the Napoleon complex, or the small man syndrome or short man syndrome, right? And people that can never accept responsibility that they make mistakes and they think they're perfect, right? There's nothing to work with there. There's that kind of a human being is just, in my opinion, not a real human being. Yeah, Broward City Police is here, which is good. Yeah, they're always here. I wonder what they're doing there. Are they just like checking things out, just hanging out, making sure that the Saturday night parties are okay, no one's getting drunk and belligerent? That's cool. Like they can sit there parked like all the time because it is much safer when they're here. Much, much safer. Now, I'm not saying it's not a safe area. This is a safe area. It is. But in any area, especially like a park, people do dumb shit. So having the cops around is a great thing. You know? It's a great thing. And all these cops, they know me. It's like they've seen me walk this park like almost no, not every day, but quite often, you know? They've seen me walk it enough. Hmm. Yeah, thank you for taking care of that, Tia. Yeah, that millennial dude in Florida. I mean, he just has nothing better to do sitting in his mom's home. You know, like you want to criticize me for living at home, you know, Don and I equally share in the expenses. Then it doesn't matter what you think. But, you know, you're such a hypocrite because you live in your mother's house and father's house rent free and you don't pay any utilities or anything. You probably just pay for food, right? And then you want to criticize me for the same thing you're doing. But see, I'm not doing it the same way as you. I pay my way. I made decent money, dude, for such a long time. And I invested it, and it's been paying my bills. And I've been stretching it as far as possible until I get my business going. And I've got other things in place, and it doesn't matter. But, you know, you want to come in here and troll on socks or send your people to come here and troll, however it is, it's not a big deal, dude. Like, your own people are big fucking hypocrites because you criticize people for doing the same things you do. Why don't you talk about where you live? Because people can figure that out, dude. You listen, man. Why don't you talk about your living situation and what you're so proud of? You want to keep trolling, you want to keep pushing it. That's cool, dude. But tell us what you're so proud of. You're proud of an internet girlfriend that I'm hearing behind the scenes is catfishing you. Now, someone could be playing a joke on me. I don't care. But you've got an internet girlfriend that I hear is catfishing you. And you live with your mother and father, which is not a problem. Do what you got to do. And you talked a lot about this stuff. You talked a lot about this stuff that you were selling your condo, right? Mm-hmm. That's cool, dude. It's all good. If you want to trash talk me for the stuff I'm doing, then you got to own up to the stuff that you're doing because, I mean, dude, seriously, dude. You know, people can find out. They can verify the truth, dude. And don't be ashamed of it, dude. I'm not ashamed of anything. I love my family. I love my woman. I love my family. Right? And the ironic thing is, dude, most of the people in your group, in your network, they all live with their parents. All of you. So what is the problem? Like, seriously, why don't you talk about it? Because I'm not going to listen to it because I've moved on. But if you want to keep coming in here and trolling and trying to say that my dad was a good man and what happened to your lazy son, I'm not lazy at all. I get up and do things every day, and I'm building something here. And if I want to call you out whenever the hell I feel like it and make you sound more stupid than you already are, then I'm going to do that. And if you want to send your dumb, mentally ill audience members that you're preying on their vulnerabilities and sucking them dry for money, because here's the thing, no normal human being would donate to you for the content you talk about all the time. It's pathetic, man. What a fucking loser. We all know our self-worth. What someone's opinion on you doesn't matter, says Tia. Right. Right. Oh, so you went and did a background check on my dad and found out that my dad was sued by Fenn. So who gives a shit? What do you think? He wasn't sued by Fenn. He sued Fenn. If you want to look at the case, you obsessed fucking moron. If you want to look at the case, go ahead. We got nothing to hide. You guys are obsessed with my story. All of you, right? Mm-hmm. So that accountant there, Fenn Arden, that was the guy my dad sued. That was his business partner, Tia. That screwed over my dad back in the 80s and 90s. And these fucking morons, probably, one of them Miss T, or it's probably Miss T looking it up, or it could be Jay, or it could be someone else involved there. They go and they look up court records and stuff. And then they create a suck account with my dad's former business partner that he sued. And what are you dad supposed to do? I'm here taking a walk, educating and informing people and uplifting them, right? And part of what I'm informing them on is your fucking stupidity. So I'm not wasting time. I'm just walking. You're wasting your Saturday night doing dumb shit because you've got an internet girlfriend that you probably don't even know what she looks like, that I hear is catfishing you, right? And you're sitting at home in your mother's house doing dumb shit. Again, dude, I don't care that you live with your mother and father. I don't. I don't care about that. What I care about is how you treat people and the type of person you are. And you, sir, are a piece of shit. You are. You absolutely are. Tia, would you like me to do one more lap? Put a 1 in the chat. Tia and Revelations. If you want me to do one more lap, put a 1 in the chat. I can do one more lap. I've warmed up. I was just going to say I enjoyed your story. I can relate with my parents. These people are so far from reality. Tia says 1. Okay. Uh-huh. Sir James, if you're not ashamed of what you have, including living at home with your parents, why don't you address that on the stream? Because anyone, I'm not telling anyone to dox you or anything. I mean, look, people know your name. They can look you up. They can find out any information, James. So here's the thing. You can come out and just say, hey, look, I moved back at home. It's a better situation for myself and my family. right? It's more financially feasible, not just for me, but for my mom, my dad too, right? And I'm okay with that. But see, you won't do that because then you can't criticize me, right? Anymore, or pretend to criticize me, right? But anyone can simply, you know, look things up and figure out what I'm saying is true. So why you know why not just practice what you preach? If you're gonna trash other people for certain shit, you gotta have all your ducks in a row. And I'm not saying you don't have your ducks in a row. I don't care that you live with your mom or dad. And you're trying to hide the fact that you don't because you don't want people finding out where you live now, dude. But you don't think they can figure that out? You don't think after 6 months of living somewhere, your name shows up where you live? That's how you guys found Dawn. I was going to put her out anyway. That it doesn't matter. But you all knew after Dawn moved in 6 months, you do a background check on me, 635 Upland Road, right? That's what you guys did back then. You guys would talk about Upland, up, 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 up. Remember all the dumb shit you guys did? You guys are the weirdest people ever, man. Weirdest people ever. I got to turn on the light. There's not a lot of people out tonight. Here we go. I'll tell you what, dude. You admit publicly that you live with your parents and you're cool with that? And I will promise you 100%, I will never, ever sue you or file copyright on anything ever again. I will never bother you with my content again. You go public and admit that you live at home with mom and dad, and you're okay with that, and that's the best thing for you. Okay? And honestly, I don't care. But you continue to come my situation, so guess what? We're going to equal the playing field. Because I'm choosing to. It's okay, dude. It's not a big deal. Your family. Supposedly your family loves you, bro. I know mine does. I got a great mother that really loves me, dude. She still treats me like a fucking baby nowadays. Now that drives me crazy at times. But I love that, dude. And I'm happy with that, right? I'm happy with my family and what we've got. And I'm not talking about what we've got financially, what we've got emotionally and spiritually and our relationship. Not everything's about money, dude. You make everything about money because you want to mask the pain of other things that you wish you had but you don't. You know, despite what you may think also, my brother does love me. And I love my brother. Despite certain things that may have been said in the past on illegally recorded calls that my brother didn't even know about. And he said a lot of those things to try to get you folks off his ass because he didn't want to lose his job because you guys were coming after his job. And that was fucked up. You guys trolled in real life. And that was the days of the doctor. Ronaldo was the doctor. It was Dr. Robert. Ronaldo, same guy.
Listen to me. Listen to Coach Elias.
I was absolutely the doctor. I was There's a lot of proof on that, a lot of research. We don't have to go back to those days. Those days are done. So if you have no shame and you're not afraid to be who you really are and be transparent with people, then have no shame in where you live, especially if you're going to talk about other people's lifestyles and living situations. Then you know what, sir? You're open to the same scrutiny and clapback that I am, right? So if you're going to criticize my work, I can criticize your work too, right? And right now I'm criticizing your work. And I'm not even using your content. I can go off the top of my head. I don't need to use your shit. Your boring shit. Come out and say, I'm proud to be living with mama and daddy. I'm proud I live with my mother and Dawn, and we share a house, and we equally pay into the house. And the difference is, you got a room. Dawn and I have an entire floor that we rent out. It's like an in-law unit. We have privacy. But you know what? I still love being close by to my mom because she's getting older, and I want to take care of her. Because I actually love my mom. I have a lot of respect for my parents because I can tell you, nah, I'm not going to go there because you get triggered so easily. I'm not going to go there. Because, yeah, you get really triggered. And then when you get triggered and you feel like you're cornered, you do dumb shit. You do dumb shit when you feel triggered and cornered. You do dumb things because you just can't let things go. You lack emotional self-control. And you got the conflicts where you feel like in the case of with me that you think it's a competition between you and I. And sir, I've never competed with you. I don't care to compete with you. As far as I'm concerned, if you want to consider yourself to be the winner of whatever perceived battle you think you and I have had, then I'll give that to you, sir. I don't give a shit. Like, there's nothing, there's nothing here, man. Nothing at all. Be proud of what you got, dude. And be proud of who you are. I'm proud of who I am. Now, initially, years ago, I was trying to protect my family. And I didn't divulge a lot of stuff because I was new to YouTube. Now, I just don't care. Now, I've already been through the ringer, and so has my family. So we're used to it. So it doesn't matter. I have no problem being transparent and sharing everything. I don't care. I feel no shame. You should feel no shame either, sir. And sir, like the topic goes, everybody struggles sometimes, right? See, sir, what you've really struggled with the most is acceptance and self-worth, right? That's why you have internet girlfriends instead of real life girlfriends, right? And that's why you got to create memes and all these suck accounts because it gives you a sense of self-worth. But, sir, you're only fooling yourself because this is all temporary, right? This is only temporarily masking the pain that you're feeling deep within, which is the pain of lack of self-worth and lack of self-acceptance and lack of self-appreciation, lack of self-love, right? If you valued yourself, sir, you certainly would not be behaving or doing the things that you're doing. Right? And if you're wondering why I'm even addressing you again, you talked about me again, dude. And that's fine. And I told you this. If I feel like talking about you at times, I will. If you talk about me, I may choose to talk about you, or I may just move on. Doesn't matter. I will do what I feel in the moment. I will do what I feel like I need to do. I will do what's going to bring value to my audience and to everyone I care for. And quite frankly, Tia, correct me if I'm wrong, if this needs to be addressed every now and then, if it bothers you, be honest, and I will respect that. But I've gotten a lot of good feedback from you. Like even Tia has been going to bat for me before I even went to bat for myself. What's there not to respect about this woman? And if I get cut off here, let me know, because I'm going through that bad reception area. Tia even went to bat for me before I started going to bat for myself. And what's there not to respect about that woman? Whoa. It's a little too fast over the speed bumps, Jeep. Tia says, I think it should be addressed when it's getting to a point where it's becoming too much. I feel you should let out how you're feeling. Can you still hear me, Tia? I don't think we're having reception issues tonight. Yeah, that makes sense. And that's what I tell people. Don't hold things in. Just let out how you feel. The problem is, with groups like, that James dude, like any response you make and he responds. And here's the thing. He responds whether I respond or not. He's just a weird dude. He's a weirdo. He's a psychopathic weirdo. And by the way, ODN, I saw your video. And even though you can't chat here right now, listen, I understand where you're coming from, ODN, but I'm not in bed with him at all. This is the reason why you're not welcome here, ODN, is because you still accuse me of being in bed with him, and I've never been in bed with him. And if you haven't noticed, ODN, maybe you saw my stream this morning, ODN, maybe you didn't. But I'm in progress of getting things copywritten from the U.S. Copyright Office. And I've also got my Legal Shield service for small business and trial defense supplement ready to go if any one of these stupid morons decides to file a frivolous lawsuit on me. Right? I'm taking protective measures. So what more do you want, ODN? Like, is the 420 really getting to you, broski? And I don't mean that to be rude. I'm just saying I am protecting myself. Just because I haven't taken legal action, at least not yet, doesn't mean I'm not protecting myself. And again, I would prefer to not have to use the legal system. I do not like the legal system. You, ODN, you like the legal system, right? And there are other people on the millennial guys team that like the legal system. But I don't. And the one and only thing that I will agree with the millennial is he doesn't like the legal system either. It's not that I don't like the legal system. I don't like the abuse of the legal system. A lot of people on YouTube, especially from that group, abuse the legal system. Now, when you used it, ODN, I'm not saying that you abused it. I have no opinion on that. But what I'm saying is, did it really have to go to that point? Did any of you that have used the legal system or ever sent someone a cease and desist, did it ever have to go to that point? I even sent the millennial guy a cease and desist one time, and he put it in his kitty litter box. It doesn't mean a damn thing. It doesn't mean anything. Now, in 2025 ODN, I am taking protective measures with federally registering a lot of my copyrighted stuff, images and videos, right? That means I could sue people in federal court. I can bypass small claims court, and I can bypass filing copyright takedowns on YouTube. I'm setting myself up. But ideally, wouldn't it be nice if people just moved forward and just move onwards and upwards, right? We are at 71 minutes, an hour, and 11 minutes. Now, last night when I got home, Dawn was tired. She was sleeping, and I ate, and I just fell asleep as well. And we both just slept for like 8 hours. I went to bed around 9 p.m. or shortly before that and got up just like right before 5 a.m. And then I did the show on the other channel, GNA, Genuine Personal Development, the main channel. Check it out if you missed it, especially if you've been a part of my community for a while, or if you just want to learn about how to protect your business and your personal life with Legal Shield. And Legal Shield, first of all, any of you that think Legal Shield is a scam, every business has dumb fucking people making dumb fucking comments on Yelp or the internet about companies. Okay? You guys call Legal Shield a pyramid scheme. Okay? They are a network marketing company, but you do not need to join their network marketing company to use their service. They have people that are like independent contractors that sell their products. It's a good product. So you guys call it a pyramid scheme because it's a network marketing company. They use the network marketing format to primarily promote their services. But you know what? You can sign up for Legal Shield on their website without going through one of their associates. I am actually an associate of Legal Shield. I could sell it, and I probably will start offering it at some point soon because it is a good product. And here's the thing. Something that can ruin you more than anything is if somebody frivolously sues you, and if you can't afford to defend yourself, you could lose a case against you when you did nothing wrong because you can't afford representation. And with Legal Shield, you can get the trial defense supplement for your business or for personal. I get it for both. That's why I pay $150 per month, James, because I have the personal plan and the business plan. And yes, I have put in about $14,000 in the Legal Shield in the last 10 years. But let me tell you something. If somebody were to sue me and I used 100 hours of legal service, how much money would that be? Let's see. If the average attorney is $400 an hour, times 10 hours is $4,000. Times 100 hours is $40,000. So think about it. And here's the thing. What you don't understand, James, I'm an insurance broker. I'm still licensed. Do you know what the purpose of insurance is? It's called peace of mind insurance, right? You hope to never have to use it. right? If you never use your insurance, then technically aren't you losing money? You can look at it that way, or you can look at it as you have peace of mind coverage in case something happens. If something does happen, you're protected. Insurance, the purpose of insurance is to get you back where you were, right? Car insurance, somebody steals your car or hits your car or whatever. Or if you hit somebody else's car, it covers your car and their car. It gets you back to where you were. But you hope to never have to use it. But if you don't have insurance and something happens, then you're screwed, right? See, a lot of you people don't understand the purpose of insurance. It's for peace of mind. It's for peace of mind. So yeah, I put in $14K in the Legal Shield over 10 years. But I've also earned a status to where I have more benefits. And if I so happen to need to use those benefits because one of your intellectually challenged, in my opinion, intellectually challenged morons tries to sue me for something stupid, I'm covered on that, right? Everybody struggles at times. We're in the stretch run of the third lap, walking with purpose in the dark. Day 10 of the GNA membership drive. You want to become a part of the GNA, all you have to do is subscribe to this channel and the main channel below in the description, GNA, Genuine Personal Development. Subscribe, bang the bell, select all notifications. We set up goals again today that James will probably screenshot and put on the Cuck Eli 3 channel or Cuck Eli main channel. He'll call me a failure again. Eli failed again. 0 out of 5 super chats, right? Yeah, Eli failed again, right? So you're sitting there on a Saturday night, 3 hours ahead of me, right? Which means right now it's probably about like 10:30 Eastern, and you're sitting there in your mama's house screenshotting my super chat goals and calling me a failure because I didn't get one, right? What a pathetic moron you are, dude. Who else would be doing that on a Saturday night besides you? Who else has the graphics designing skills besides you? That was definitely a good move to hook up with the legal insurance. Well, I've been with them for over 10 years, Tia. I've had Legal Shield Family Plan with the Home Business Supplement and Trial Defense Supplement for 10 years. Give me a second. And then earlier on this year, when the GNA became an LLC, because I'm covered actually with the Home Business Supplement on my personal plan for business. But there's a little more coverage when you actually become like an LLC or incorporation, because technically you can still call yourself a home-based business, but I don't look at myself as a home-based business anymore. I got the small business pro plan with the trial defense supplement earlier this year. And so, yeah, I've been with them for a long time. I've actually had to use Legal Shield before, and they're very good. They will send out cease and desists. And there's a lot of other, benefits. Yes, they do clerical work. They have paralegals. They do all that stuff. And no, they will not go to court for you if you sue someone unless you pay them. But you get a 25% discount off of regular attorney fees if you sue someone. But if you have the trial defense supplement, you get a bunch of hours at no charge. And if you go beyond those hours, which if you do, then you've got a really, really crazy case, then you get 25% off the remainder of the attorney's hours. So yeah, no, it's a good company. Listen, everyone is going to have their opinions. Look, I'm not the biggest network marketing fan. Like, I'm not big on network marketing and creating teams to sell products. But there have been some network marketing companies that I came across that actually do have a good product. And Legal Shield is one of them. And they're not really even technically a network marketing company. They just have a network marketing aspect as one way that they sell their product. Again, you can go right to their website and purchase any plan on your own without ever talking to someone, an associate that sells Legal Shield as a network marketing person. So that's when I really get the GNA going in 2025. I'm going to start to really push Legal Shield. I'm going to start to also push real-time pain relief. It's another company that uses network marketing to get their product out, but they also sell it in the stores. It's just cheaper to get it online, and you can get it in bulk. And the way I use real-time pain relief, I like getting it in bulk from my buddy Mike that I met through networking years ago. And tonight at the park, it seems a little bit more quiet than normal. It got busy a little bit ago, but now it's really started to calm down. Anyway, time to go. I got to go run a couple errands real quick, and then I'm going to go home and eat dinner with Dawn, and hopefully we'll watch our shows tonight. I'm not really that tired right now. Hopefully my lady will be all right. She's been sleeping okay, but she gets up in the middle of the night for a couple hours sometimes while I'm sleeping, and she'll be watching TV while I'm just laying there next to her, and it's like, that's just, she's used to working early in the morning, so she's still, years later, she still hasn't snapped out of that sleeping pattern, but we'll get there. Anyway, Tia, thank you so much for being here. What do you call it? Revelations, thank you so much for being here. And to everyone else, much love. Have a good one. Take care. And as always, be good to each other.